The Aramaic and Palestinian Targum, Numbers chapter 29. We're now looking at the fall feasts. Chapter 28 was the spring feasts. And in the 7th month, the month of Tishri, on the 1st of the month, you shall have a holy convocation, and do no servile work. It shall be to you a day for the sounding of the trumpet, that by the voice of your trumpets you may disturb Satana or Hasatan, who cometh to accuse you. And you shall make a burnt sacrifice to be received with favour before the Lord. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, lambs of the year 7, unblemished, and the minture of wheaten flour mingled with olive oil, 3/10 for the bullock, 2/10 for the ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering to make an atonement for you, besides the sacrifice for the beginning of the month and its minture, and the perpetual sacrifice and its minture, and their libations according to the order of their appointments, and oblation to be received with favour before the Lord. And on the 10th of the 7th month, the month of Tishri, you shall have a holy convocation, and chasten your souls by abstaining from food and drink, the bath, friction, sandals, and the marriage bed. And you shall do no servile labour, but offer a sacrifice before the Lord to be received with favour. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, lambs of the year 7, unblemished, shall you have, and the minture of wheat flour mingled with olive oil, 3/10 for the bullock, 2/10 for 1 ram, a single tenth for a lamb. So for the 7 lambs, 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, beside the sin offering of the expiations, and the perpetual sacrifice, and their minches, and the wine of their libations. And on the 15th day of the 7th month you shall offer a holy convocation. No servile work shall you do, but shall celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles before the Lord 7 days, and offer a sacrifice, an oblation to be received with favour before the Lord. 13 young bullocks proceeding daily and diminishing their number, in all 70 for the 70 nations, and offering them by 13 orders. 2 rams which shall offer by 2 orders. Lambs of the year 14, unblemished, to be offered by 8 orders, offering 6 of them by 2 and 2, and 2 of them 1 by 1, and shall be perfect. The minture also of wheat flour with olive oil, 3/10 for each bullock of the 13, 2/10 for each ram, a single tenth for each of the 14 lambs, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, which shall be offered by 1 order, beside the perpetual sacrifice, the wheat flour for the minture, and the wine of the oblation. On the 2nd day of the Feast of Tabernacles you shall offer 12 young bullocks by 12 orders, 2 rams by 2 orders, 14 lambs of the year unblemished by 9 orders. 5 of them shall offer 2 by 2, and 4 of them 1 by 1. And the minture of wheat flour, and the wine of the libation, which shall be offered with the bullocks, rams, and lambs, by their number according to the order of their appointment. And 1 ram by 1 order, a sin offering beside the perpetual sacrifice, and the wheat flour of the minches, and the libations of wine. On the 3rd day of the Feast of Tabernacles you shall offer 12 bullocks by 12 orders, 2 rams by 2 orders, 14 unblemished lambs of the year by 10 orders. 4 of them shall offer 2 by 2, and 6 of them 1 by 1. and the mincher of wheat flour, and the libations of wine, you shall offer with the bullocks, rams, and lambs by the number in their appointed order, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering by one order, beside the perpetual sacrifice, the wheat flour for the mincher, and its libation of wine. And on the 4th day of the Feast of Tabernacles, 10 young bullocks by 10 orders, 2 rams by 2 orders, 14 unblemished lambs of the year by 12 orders. 3 of them shall be offered at 2 times, and 8 of them singly. Their mincher of wheat and flour, and their libations of wine, which you shall offer with the bullocks, rams, and lambs by their number, after the appointed order, and 1 kid for sin offering, by one order, beside the perpetual sacrifice, the wheat flour for the mincher, and its libation of wine. And on the 5th day of the Feast of Tabernacles, 9 young bullocks by 9 orders, 2 rams by 2 orders, lambs of the year 14, perfect by 12 orders, 2 of them in a pair, 12 singly, and the wheat flour for their mincher, and the libation wine for the bullocks, the rams, the lambs by their number, after the order of their appointment, and 1 kid for a sin offering by one order, beside the perpetual sacrifice, and the wheat flour for the mincher, and the wine of its libation. On the 6th day of the Feast of Tabernacles, 8 young bullocks by 8 orders, 2 rams by 2 orders, 14 unblemished lambs of the year by 13 orders, a pair of them together, and 12 of them singly. The mincher of wheat flour and their libation of wine you shall offer with the bullocks, rams, and lambs by their number in the order appointed. Land 1 kid for a sin offering by one order, besides the perpetual sacrifice, the wheat flour for the mincher, the wine of its libation, and a vase of water to be outpoured on the day of the Feast of Tabernacles, in grateful acknowledgement and for a good memorial of the showers of rain. And on the 7th day of the Feast of Tabernacles you shall offer 7 bullocks by 7 orders, 2 rams by 2 orders, 14 unblemished lambs of the year by 14 orders, the number of all these lambs 98, to make atonement against the 98 male dictions. And their mincher of wheat, flour, and libations of wine you shall offer with the bullocks, rams, and lambs by their number. That must be bullocks, rams, and lambs by their number, according to the order appointed, 1 kid by one order, beside the perpetual sacrifice, the wheat flour for the mincher, and its libation of wine. And on the 8th day you shall gather together joyfully from your tabernacles in your houses, a gladsome company, a feast all day, a holy convocation shall you have. No servile work shall you do, but offer a sacrifice and oblation to be received with favour before the Lord, light oblations, 1 bullock before one God, 1 ram for the one people, lambs of the year unblemished, 7, for the joy of the 7 days, their mincher of wheat flour, and their libations of wine, which you shall offer with the bullocks, rams, and lambs by their number, after the order of their appointment, and 1 kid for a sin offering, beside the perpetual sacrifice, the flour for its mincher, and the wine for its libation. These you shall offer before the Lord in the time of your festivals, beside your vows, which you vow at the festival, and which you shall bring on the day of the feast, with your free will oblation for your burnt sacrifice, your mincher, libations, and consecrated victims. This is the end of the reading.